All right, it's holiday season, and guess who's ready? FedEx is ready for the holidays. So order your stuff with confidence because they're ready to deliver.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I thought it would be okay with Judge and Patricia.
I'd love to make fun of you, but
Yeah,
I can't.
No, but so far I've been wrong. You know, I can admit it.
so
But
far.
Five games?
no, like
The greatest head coach in the history. I wouldn't want to hire him tomorrow. He would not be higher on my list of offensive coordinator candidates tomorrow.
I'd hire him to do anything.
Yeah, you would hire him to do your lawn. I get it.
Executing handoffs on 3rd and 1 on the opening
Oh,
drive.
come on.
You know, stuff like that you just see.
Wouldn't happen if Nick Caley was the quarterback.
Fundamentals on the offensive line. Fundamentals on the offensive line.
I had an account
Yeah.
that I haven't used in forever. It goes back to pre-Beth.
Pre-Beth and the internet.
Oh, no. No, that's a good personal shot. No, that's a really good personal shot. The internet's been around since the mid-'90s.
Computers, did they have those?
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
She got mad because she goes, you didn't pay for shipping, did you? Gotta have it now, right?
Gotta have it now.
If you want to watch football on Thursdays.
That's it.
Prime members.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals, a Monday night tilt on ESPN, so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
No digital platform.
No Prime subscription
Yeah.
required.
Locally, what network is it here?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should check Patriots.com ways to watch.
I believe the local affiliate, it's obviously ESPN
Right.
nationally, but I believe it's 25.
So that's Fox.
Yes.
Okay.
Fox 25. I'm not positive on that.
Okay. All right. How to watch information.
Yeah. It's
It's Deuce, it's Paul, it's Fred, it's Matt in the booth.
yeah.
Will anyone else be stopping by?
Evan will be practice at 12:35,
'Kay.
so he'll head out there and see who's there for the first official day of practice this week. See
Yep.
if get anybody back maybe or anybody. I don't know. It seems like there's sicknesses going around everywhere. So I know a lot of guys in masks on Tuesday for that availability. So yeah, we'll see who's out there and could use a boost maybe. I'd love to see Marcus Cannon out there. Not that I think he's like gonna save the offensive line or anything, but some depth would be nice.
Yeah. So Evan will be by later, and then, of course, we've got picks later.
Gotta hurry.
So it's a big show. We talked a lot about, the current state of affairs the last 2 days, and I think it was good conversation. But, let's talk a little bit about these Cardinals. I was listening to some info this morning on one of Paul's shows, and they were talking about how the Cardinals' defense is really good at not allowing chunk plays, long throws,
Yeah.
but they're like bottom of the league in underneath offense,
Yeah.
letting up underneath offense, which
A lot of zone.
I mean,
a lot of zone defense.
that's the trade-off, I guess. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, is it a good defense or isn't it?
Yeah,
overall.
Yeah, they
Terrible.
Yeah,
31st in the league.
they have some talent, but it hasn't come together, and they haven't. I really feel prepared for this Cardinals team. Like I watched all the Hard Knocks. I spent all morning kind of digging into them. A team you don't really know much about. I feel like I've gotten a good
Thank
dose
God.
of research on them, which usually you kind of know a lot of the teams, but. Yeah, a lot of injuries. I think that's the thing that stands out to me. And we've talked about, they haven't really had everybody at once on the offensive side of the ball. And, that's not an excuse. I don't think Kyler Murray has played well. I mean, his stats are all, pretty bad. And generally I think the sentiment is that he's regressing. But, it's just like you look at their receiver group.
Is he regressing, or the league just figured him out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was ever really that good.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was a period where he kind of hit his stride and the league hadn't maybe figured him out yet. But, just what stands out to me is just the receiver group. Like, it's just a really good group. I mean, I know they haven't really performed. I mean, Hopkins at the top, and they just got Hollywood Brown back, which, those guys have only played one game together. And I think that was a big part of the plan. They talked about, Kyler Murray played with Hollywood Brown in college at Oklahoma. And so, has a real connection with him. He's got every game he's played in, he's got a bunch of catches, 5-6 catches minimum every game he plays. But, you go down the depth chart, and then it's like you get to, Robbie Anderson, who's like their fourth. AJ Green is like kicking around. We talked about Greg Dortch, who I think they're going to get back Dortch or Rondale Moore. Kingsbury was saying the other day he's hopeful to get one of those guys back. But it's an interesting group, and I don't think we've seen
weapons.
a lot. They've got some weapons. You talk about the weapons here, and it's like, man, if you stack these guys up, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of fans out there who'll be like, give me A.J. Brown right now. Not that he's still the same A.J. Brown, but he's like their fifth receiver right now. So it's just an interesting kind of group.
Well,
they run James Conner
you
and
jumped
A.J.
over to
Green.
their offense.
A.J. Green, sorry.
But I want to go back to their defense, though, because I'm more concerned about us scoring points here.
Sure.
How are they against the run?
I mean, they're not good. I mean, overall, they're. Let me see. What do I pull up
They're
here?
okay.
I mean,
they're okay against.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
run. They're really bad against the pass.
You want to talk about DVOA? They're 29th against the run. So I mean, they have some players though. I mean, they have J.J. Watt, who's having a decent season for him. A little bit of a resurgence. I think he's at like 6-7 sacks, somewhere in that range. Isaiah Simmons has been real up and down. That's a guy that we all really liked. He was benched early in the year. They took some snaps away from him. He's been really inconsistent. Zaven Collins, another guy that really fit the Patriots kind of scheme at linebacker. He's been having a good season. He's coming on. And then Budda Baker in the back end, who returned after like 1 week on a high ankle sprain, kind of their emotional leader. But they're missing their top corner. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to play. Where is it?
Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy, yeah. So he's probably out. So they have some talent, but it hasn't come together for them. And I see a lot of what I see in the Patriots in that they have a lot of penalties, a lot of pre-snap stuff. They're just killing themselves a lot of the time,
what
too.
What kind of defense do they run? Is it?
It's just a pretty standard. Collins and Simmons are kind of the main two linebackers. You got two stand-up guys on the edge, and then J.J. Watt and the kid from BC, Zach Allen, who's having a good year. They kind of man the inside. So they're aggressive. They're going to blitz a lot
of zone.
Yeah, they're going to blitz a lot. I mean, Bill said earlier this week they're going to blitz 50% of the time. So it's you're going to have to handle pressure, and I think the ball's going to have to come out quick. I think to your point, the zone defense they play. Checkdowns, getting it out, that's probably going to be the key against these guys.
And they're the worst in the league in the red zone. Patriots obviously the worst in the league offensively in the red zone. So that I think that's a big part of the game. I think you'll be able to move the ball against this team, and whether or not you're able to get sevens as opposed to threes. It's funny how you look at it. Like, I'm worried about the offense, like the match. I look at it the opposite. I'm like, with all those weapons that you're talking about, can the defense hold them under 25?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I look at, because I think if you get past that magic number, I get very concerned.
Yep. I agree. I mean, I think the mobility of Kyler Murray. Evan wrote a little bit in his preview as well. With they haven't done a ton with him this year, but it's just you look at what the Patriots have done against those kind of quarterbacks, and it's got to be tempting for them at this point with Cliff. Geez, I cannot get Cliff
Kingsbury.
I cannot get that one out. Double K's. With him 4-8. He might be like, all right, we just got to throw it at the wall. Whatever we can do, be aggressive, and maybe throw caution to the wind a little bit. That's a little bit concerning. But the weapons, and you talk about, not that they're going to go 5 wide on them, but they have guys that could stress some matchups.
I'm thinking it's going to be a good offensive game, similar if not better than what we saw in Minnesota. I like the fact that it's indoors. Elements aren't going to be a factor. I like the fact it's in Arizona. Patriots fans always turn out in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be a good contingent of Patriots fans at this game.
Yeah. I don't like the Patriots' chances in that kind of a game, if you're right.
Yeah.
So I'll say that.
Okay.
If it's an offensive game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's how can you?
No. If it's a game like Minnesota, I don't like the Patriots' chances.
Well, I know, but you clean up a few things and you win that game.
You got to finish.
You know?
I mean, they moved the ball, but they didn't finish, and I mean that's the recurring thing, the red zone. So I mean, look, this is like as you said, a terrible red zone defense. I also think though, I just think those are all relative. And I mean, you look at the red zone percentages, and what really is the red zone? Those are only plays that are inside the 20. But I would consider getting inside the 30 is somewhat of a red zone play. So I don't know. Those percentages I think can be a little bit skewed, and I mean certainly they're not with the Patriots.
I mean, just off the top of my head, I'll bet you if you take amount of points scored once the Patriots get into the other team's territory, I'll bet you it's awful.
Right.
Think of all those opportunities they had early in the season where they took over at midfield and they came away with nothing.
Like negative plays between like the 40 and the 30
or
where they're knocking on the door and then they go backwards.
Or you had 5 field goals from Nick Folk,
Yeah, there was a stat
Expected
rolling around.
points earned, whatever that thing is.
There was a stat rolling around this week. Patriots were like 28th in the league in converting first downs into either a first down or a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, like, no matter where they are in the field, they haven't moved the ball.
No, the Patriots have been terrible on first down this year. I mean, that's one of the stats that continually pops up, and I mean, I think it's a little bit distressing. It's something that I think is under the radar right now. It's just the fact that they don't have a run game anymore. And coming into the season, last few years, you felt like you have to have a run game with this team, and it's just the lack of production there. I think is something that's a little bit under the radar right now and could really cost them games here down the end if they can't find a way to get going. You've only got Stevenson. Curious if Harris is out there, but do they trust any of these young kids? Like, I don't think Stevenson's going to be able to carry the load for the last 5 games and just do everything that he's been doing.
At some point, Stronger, the other Harris, has to do something.
I mean, 1 carry last week for Harris. I mean, you talk about, you flip it over, to the Cardinals, and I mean, James Conner is the same thing. They had an issue with one of their backs that they cut.
Benjamin, it was just weird.
Yeah.
Like, he was their second back, and they just cut him.
Yeah,
like,
he was
unhappy
unhappy
he had
with
70
his play
carries,
time.
and they just let him go out of nowhere.
Yep,
Something
young kid, a little bit of a controversy there.
Yeah.
So they've
didn't make it into Hard Knocks.
No, they completely left that out. By the way, but yeah, it's. Kyler Murray, interesting guy.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You had the DVOA for run defense for Arizona. What are the Patriots' DVOA run defense?
I don't know if I have that. Oh, wait. No, I just have all their terrible offensive stats in front of me.
You have to hold that for Evan.
Well, no, the reason I asked.
Oh, wait, sorry. No, wait, that's them. Sorry. No, I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
Because their numbers against the run are very similar. That's why it was like they were kind of middle of the pack. And then you said 29th. I was like, the Patriots much worse against the run than I think? Because I don't think the Patriots are bad. No, I don't think they're bad this year against the run. They haven't been great.
Yeah.
And they've been a little inconsistent, but I don't think they've been bad.
It hasn't been a problem.
Not like years past.
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem.
I agree with you. I think the only thing that kind of stands out to me, and the only thing that I can recall from the top of my mind, is they don't make any plays in the backfield. They don't make plays behind the line of scrimmage, tackles for loss. These things I think they're 28th, 29th in run stuffs and getting just snuffing plays out. Guys get stuff, but not much. But I'll look that up for you, Paul. I'll find out. I mean, it's overall though. I think they've been okay. I think they've been okay against the run, but you just hear them so much over the last couple months of stop the run, get to the pass, and even when they've been doing that, it's not good.
How about the coaching matchup? I mean, obviously Bill wins pretty much, but going below Bill on both teams.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kingsbury's kind of the OC himself. I mean, and I think he talked about earlier in the season maybe not calling plays anymore, and that's gone by the wayside. Vance Joseph is on the defensive side very aggressive, so I think that's it's a huge piece of it. Dealing with pressure this week and being able to get the ball out, and I mean, at the same time though, I worry that game plan is going to feed into what they tried to do last week, where all right, this team can't stop the short, they're going to blitz us, let's take all the underneath stuff, and then
is this a must-win for the Patriots?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think every game's a must-win until they're either mathematically in or out.
Yeah, it's hard.
These two are must-wins.
Yeah.
This road trip.
With the NFC teams or teams you don't see a lot, I don't feel like I get a beat on them. Like some of the other teams you're used to facing, you say, like this game, I don't know. I really don't. I think it's going to be a back and forth.
Well, I mean, what are they, 4-8?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't been a good team this year.
They haven't, but they've lost.
That's why it's a must-win.
Yeah, 3 starting offensive linemen they've lost. So I mean, they've had some issues there. But like
they've used 77 players, the most in football. They've been completely decimated with injuries, but the talent is there.
Just go to the last. I mean, they haven't had their offense really until the last game, and now they've had 2 weeks to get.
And that's my fear.
To get Hollywood Brown fully healthy from the broken foot.
Both teams that on the swing are playing well. At least their offense play, but the Raiders are playing better, and now we're saying that
the
we
Cardinals
get their
aren't.
offense
Yeah,
back.
the Cardinals aren't playing better, but with this group together,
hey, look, Paul's on TV.
They've played well.
Yeah.
Is this when I think this is that line when Murray starts talking about the nerd.
That was funny.
Oh my God, I couldn't stop.
That was
I couldn't
great.
stop.
You were
laughing.
coughing into your shirt. I was laughing.
I couldn't stop laughing.
But you hear the guys on Hard Knocks talk, and you can hear it in Kyler Murray just feeling like we just haven't had a chance to get our offense on the field this year. And I mean, clearly Hopkins is a huge piece of it. Another clip that Sean Jefferson, the wide receivers coach of the Cardinals,
Still wearing those pants, Freddie.
oh, what, the Zubaz?
Oh, yeah.
No. Remember the spandex pants, the leggings.
Yeah.
You remember the leggings he used to wear at practice, and it used to make Fred very uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Well,
Very
that's
toys.
all he would wear.
Right.
with no support.
Tight and bulgy.
Yeah.
With no like shorts over them like
Right.
most people wear.
So, he come running at you, and there's a lot looking at you there.
I think, Hopkins missed the first 6 games with suspension. Then he came back, and immediately it was like 10 for like 130 or whatever it was. They've played 4 games together, Hopkins and Murray, because then since Hopkins has been back, Murray missed 2 of those games. They've played 4 games together. I said this yesterday. They averaged over 28 points a game in those 4 games that they've played together. If they get to 28, I don't feel good.
Yeah. Why should you?
Because, again, and I'm not, listen, I did Andy's podcast this morning, with Fitzy, Andy and Fitzy. At some point, that's going to end, right? At some point,
Their podcast?
No, good though. The 0-4-10, I think it is, when the other opponent scores 25 or more. At some point, the Patriots are going to win a game, 31-27. It's going to happen at some point. But until it does, I can't expect it to. So if you expect the other team to be up in the mid to high 20s, you're expecting a loss.
Yeah. So
that you just can't feel good about it.
No, and I mean they played Hollywood Brown in the slot last week too. So it's just, I mean, they've got speed, and it's just they've got problems that, I don't think that the full season of the Cardinals tells the full story. Maybe on defense it does, because they just haven't really found a way to make the big plays. I mean, the Chargers game went right down to the end. They gave it a 2-point conversion right at the end.
Well, you had a question in your roundtable this week. Like, what's the one thing that can improve to shore up the problems that they've had recently? And what was the consensus?
I haven't put it together.
Oh, you
yet.
haven't put it together?
No. They've all come in, but I haven't compiled them.
Today's
Thursday.
Today's really a Wednesday. Yeah,
right.
okay.
It'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know it's hard at this point,
but
because I feel like you're hitting the same questions.
I thought the pass rush.
Yeah.
That was something that was really an asset early in the season, and it stopped being that.
Yeah.
And I think you need to improve the pass rush, because with all these guys, you're not going to be able to cover them forever. So you have to play complementary defense when they pass. And the one thing that I think that we haven't seen recently is consistent pressure.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the horses right now. I mean, they don't have I think there was too much kind of on Barmore, and Daniel Quale hasn't been great. I mean, there's a lot of Josh Uche parades going around right now, which I'm like.
But it's sporadic production.
It's but he's a third down player.
It's like guy
still.
coming in the 8th. You're down by 5 and he hits a home run. Well, that's great. Yeah. But we're still down by 4.
And if he does, like if Josh Uche does what he did the other night and makes a big play, every game as a situational pass rusher, that's good. Like that's
in the last few games
looking
he has.
Like I'm not but I'm
not just from him.
No, I'm just talking about him specifically. The Josh Uche thing. Like I'm not looking for 16 sacks from Josh Uche.
Yeah.
But if he can come in, 20, 25 snaps a game and show up on a play or two, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that enough from him. I saw it the other night. That was a big play. But I need to see a little bit more before I'm like
against
like everybody else, like dominant.
Right. Well, this is, they're on a backup left tackle, so that's his jam. Yeah. So,
the problem with
who was compromised.
The problem with that play last week is it gets diminished because they didn't turn into anything.
Yeah.
In the past, you get that turnover before the half and set up and you would get points.
Yeah. I know. That's that bugged me. I mean, that's just, it's complimentary football, as you say. The sides giving each other hope. It's like you make the defense makes the big play. What do they come away with?
Each side gives the other hope. Absolutely. Right. That's a Fred Kirsch mantra.
Well, it's a Parcells mantra. That's what he used to teach or, believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's I enjoy watching Hard Knocks, though. I mean, a little behind the scenes kind of stuff. You just get a feel for the team like no other kind of thing, especially when it's in season and exactly what they think their issues are. And I love Cliff Kingsbury's. I got it that time.
Yeah.
I got it out.
A little bit.
I love his
kind of stumbled
his voice.
Now
he's got that like commanding.
It's a natural The track is natural grass.
I believe you've been there.
Yeah,
right.
They comes in and out. Yeah, they have
goes out.
the big trays.
Get some sun.
Does it go out soft?
No, if it depends on the weather. If it goes out, it depends on the weather. If they water it nice and it goes in moist,
Yeah.
so it goes in easier.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So
We're on video
anyway,
today.
so what if Cliff Kingsbury, they're coming off their bye week, so it's kind of even there. Both sides had plenty of time in between their last games. Maybe he looked back and, to your point, Mike, he said, well, I watched this team play Baltimore and Lamar Jackson was a problem. And I watched them play Chicago and Justin Fields was a problem. And he says, I know we don't want to run Kyler Murray a lot, but, we're 4-8 here. We got to find a way to get some wins,
Yeah.
And
It's back against the
Kyler,
wall.
I know we don't want to do it all the time, but in this game, Fred made the point, you're on national television on Monday Night Football. Cliff Kingsbury might want to put his best foot forward here and say, you know what, we got to do some design runs with the quarterback because that's going to give us a better chance against this team. Chicago wasn't doing a lot of design runs with Justin Fields until that night either, and now all of a sudden he's been unleashed.
And another thing to that point, Paul, and tying it back to the injuries, is that he's been battling this hamstring injury for a while. So I wonder if that's kind of fed into, let's not run this guy when he's dealing with a hamstring injury that seems like
And I'm sure that
edge.
durability issues was part of the reason why they haven't dialed up a lot of runs, because he's a small kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he runs with the ball in one. You ever see him?
he fumbles a lot.
It's unbelievable.
He does fumble a lot. That's probably another reason. I think he has 6 fumbles.
I can't believe they haven't said, you got to tuck that ball away.
Well, it's because he runs with his hips
I know.
go parallel.
I know. It's like he can't run with his arms close. He has to have them out there for the balance.
He's an interesting dude.
But I think his biggest problem is off-field. Like, I don't think like that stuff when he was going through his contract extension about
watching film.
Doing the things they need to do. I don't think that his teammates have necessarily embraced him. I don't think he doesn't come off as a great leader from afar. Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
him.
Well, there were some Patrick Peterson comments too this year about him that he was taken aback by, I guess you would say.
So I would say there's two ways that can go. I mean, they have some dysfunction going on. He's been at odds with Kingsbury. I think he was sort of bickering with Hopkins last game.
He was, yeah.
So like, there's 2 ways that can go. You had a bye week. Did it fester, and it's just going to be bottoming out Monday night, or did they have a come to Jesus meeting and figure this out and say, all right, let's all get on the same page and let's go? Because I can't get past Hopkins, Brown, Moore, A.J. Green, Zach Ertz is out, but with James Conner and Kyler Murray, that's a team that should be able to put 30 up on you. And at times they've been able to do that. At times now, it's 29, it's 26, it's 42. They've been able to score in some games. To put 42 on New Orleans.
That's pretty good.
New Orleans is a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Now, maybe the Saints were missing a bunch of guys that game. Forgive me, I don't know the ins and outs of everybody's depth chart for every game, but there are times when offensively they've looked okay. And like I said, recently it's 26, 21, 27, 24. And one of the games that they had 10 was with Colt McCoy against the Niners.
They got
best
handled.
defense in the league with their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, I don't want to digress, but Baker Mayfield, chance he might play tonight for the Rams.
Oh, really?
Did you find that a little absurd?
I do. I find it absurd they even brought him in.
Well, I
mean, the season's over.
I understand why they brought him in.
Why?
Well, because I think obviously you're going to be missing Stafford, and they're clearly not sold on their current backup situation.
But they're not competing for a playoff spot.
No, but you find out if there's anything there to bring him back. So you have
Mayfield?
So you have a backup to Stafford next year, yes.
He's going to want to come back as a backup?
I don't really think when you get released you have a lot of choices.
No, I know, but
a lot of people were stunned that he got claimed, period.
Yeah.
A lot of people were on record saying, I don't believe that he'll get claimed. So they were the only team,
So
right?
you think that Mayfield might be resigned to the fact that I'm not going to start in this league?
I mean,
is he resigned to it, or is that the fact?
Well, no. Is he resigned to it?
I don't think he's resigned to it.
No.
Okay.
But I think he's got to find an opportunity. He's got.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. In his mind, he probably thinks like, I need this kind of offense or this kind of coach, or I need something that
This
would
is
make
what I'm
me,
getting at.
And so, hey, Sean McVay, this is an offense that I think,
And
But
what if Sean
opportunity's
McVay
there.
says, hey, listen, Stafford's coming up. This is a really serious thing that Stafford's dealing with. What if he comes to them in March and says, hey, look,
Huge.
I'm
Right.
done.
Yep.
I was going to say something.
I know.
snarky.
I was
Yeah.
waiting for it, Fred. I knew
No,
it was
like
coming.
Fred, like I'm not going to get in an argument with you, but like when you have like a spinal contusion,
Yeah.
that's not like
Right.
that can happen when you're 24 too.
Yeah, so they say.
Okay.
I mean, he got a Super Bowl too. Like, how
Right.
many? I mean, he's had a lot of injuries
Yeah.
over the course of his career. You know,
Yeah.
how much? But I can see why Baker Mayfield will want to go there, just based on the
I can see
offensive
why he'd
coordinator
want to
and the
go
offense
there.
that they
Well,
have.
he had no choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I could see what's the downside for Baker Mayfield.
I understand why Sean McVay would roll the dice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Matthew Stafford's a sure thing right now. And I like Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred's going to make fun of me, but
I love him.
I think if you get him in, you can find out exactly what you have with Baker Mayfield
guess
in the last 5
I
weeks.
guess
It's like,
if-
this is a guy I think could really thrive in my
Yeah.
offense.
No,
this is a guy that he's not a fit at all.
I guess if you're saying that Stafford's not a sure thing, then okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, how can you say Stafford's a sure thing?
Oh, I didn't know the injury was that, like, he was possibly out for 2023.
Oh, no. He's not going to be out for 2023. He may decide I'm not playing anymore.
Okay, well, either way,
Like
he's
that-
not a sure thing.
Like, I'm just like, I'm not saying that there's any reports that say that Matthew Stafford might not play next year. I'm saying the guy's in his late 30s and has a spinal contusion. I think he might say, you know what? I got lucky. I'm getting out.
Yeah, so he's not a sure thing.
Yeah.
So in McVay's
You listen to
McVay's
this.
mind, he's not sure.
He's making it a report.
in
I'm not
Mc-
reporting
In
this.
McVay's mind, he's not sure one way or the other. I might have, for whatever reason,
And he
I
might
may not have a quarterback next year.
But he also might look at it as, Stafford's back, but I can't rely on him to play 17 games. I need a viable backup.
Yeah.
And if this guy is a fit for my offense, I can sell him on, hey, look, Stafford is, what is Stafford, like 37?
Around there, yeah. Sure.
He's Matthew's not getting any younger. He's my guy, but you'll come in, you'll have an opportunity to compete.
okay.
Yeah, they're saying
And we'll
warm-ups.
see.
They won't decide until warm-ups was just on the ESPN crawl there. But I mean, I
I
think
just
too
can't
that-
imagine that you sign a guy on Tuesday and you play him on a Thursday.
Right.
Right. And but
Quarterback, that's
yeah.
fine for like a
Crazy.
running back
This
or
is crazy.
something. But
This is crazy. I mean, they're 3-9. Maybe they're getting to that point we haven't seen the Patriots get to yet, where it's like, hey, we're 3-9. Let's just. Everything Paul said is true, but I mean, just across the roster, now it's kind of the time. You're 3-9. We got to figure out what we got for next year. Who
Yeah.
are the guys that we can count on?
Throw
Who
it
are
against the
who
wall
are the
and see
guys
what
that have
sticks.
some promise? I hope we don't see those days here, but I mean, that might be where they're at.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Let's get to some of our callers and emails because we do have a busy show. So we'll start with Sean in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Fred, I got a couple of things. Now, I don't have access to Football Outsiders, so I don't know DVOA, but I was looking up the stats for defensive yards per carry, and the Patriots are around 10th at 4.1, and Arizona's about 23rd with 4.6. But with touchdowns, Patriots are tied for first at 5, and Arizona's around 20 with 13. So against the run, I think the Patriots are better. But my question is on the offense. Arizona's not good against tight ends. So we know, like you said, they're going to come after the Patriots. They're going to be aggressive against Mac. So do you think they do more screens and try and get Jonnu involved? Maybe Hunter Henry again in the end zone. See if he can get some touchdowns.
If you can get down there, it'd be great. I'm
out of these.
Yeah,
answers.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like we keep getting these questions every week.
Yeah,
They're like, who do they get involved?
I mean,
And
if Deuce is right, and they're going to blitz at least 50% of the time, or not
That's
blitz,
what Bill
but
said.
somehow some type of manufactured pressure 50% of the time. I mean, you're going to have some type of blitz beater, ready to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
in his pocket. Yeah, so whether that's screen or draws or whatever, you're going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how many screens you can do in a game. I mean,
Right.
ultimately, it just comes down to guys got to protect, they got to pick up stunts, and Mac has to recognize what's going on and get the ball out quick, which, I mean, I do think he has some potential for that. This, as we said, seems like it's lining up, no weather, zone kind of defense, but yeah, the pressure could be a real problem if the offensive line doesn't come to play, especially, uncertainty at right tackle.
And, this guy that was talking this morning was talking about, how,
the blitz.
Mac gets the ball out quicker than Murray or whatever. And he was saying, the Patriots' offensive line was really good, which shows in, the number of sacks that they gave up. It's like, well, you just said that he's getting rid of the ball. Right. Probably
the Patriots' offensive line wasn't
right.
really good.
Probably sooner than he wants to.
Yeah,
that's not. Right. That doesn't mean the offensive line's good.
Yeah,
it's
hard to take a certain stat and then extrapolate it to well, they didn't do this, so that means this.
That's why
that's why you just look at the stats and you say, oh, no sacks last week. Well,
right.
And you also you just need to watch the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. There was immediate pressure on a vast majority of that. I think it was something like 40%.
Yeah.
I think it was 39 and change pressure rate last week. The offensive line wasn't good. Now, I get, Connor McDermott just came in off the Jets practice squad and played. It's tough.
Yeah.
Patty's in Agawam. What's up, Patty?
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Bay.
I got a few things I want to get into. I'll make it quick because I know you got picks today. Paulie, you brought up a bunch of good reasons why I don't think they're going to win this game. Most notably, just the way they've struggled against guys that can run at the quarterback position this year. I don't know what the hell happened between 2020 and these last 2 years, but we played these guys 2 years ago, and Lamar Jackson 2 years ago beat them, and it just seems like the last 2 years they haven't been able to get a good beat on getting pressure and just keeping these guys contained. So, and I just don't, if they score 28 points, it's lights out. Forget it.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a quick, crazy question too, and that is, number one, I'm glad that they select next week's game out. But let's say Week 18 against the Bills, that's a win in their end game, and Buffalo's tied everything up. They got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Do you think, if you're Buffalo, do you let the Patriots just take the foot off the pedal, or do you just try and beat them and say, no, sorry, you're not making the playoffs this year?
I'd let them in.
Well, I mean, it's probably a decent chance that be who they're going to play, right? I mean, 7 versus 2. This is probably just for the 7th seed again anyway.
No, he's saying they got it locked up number 1.
Oh, number 1.
So you wouldn't play them.
I mean, for me, it's you sit Josh Allen or not. That's the question, because otherwise, I don't think that there's anything that the Bills are necessarily going to do that's going to signal that they're just going to take the foot off the gas. I mean, if he's playing, they're probably playing.
And I also think teams that have the bye generally play some guys. I think Josh Allen's situation is definitely factors in, with the elbow and all that. But if they don't play in Week 18, then they don't play the next week. A lot of teams don't like to do that, to have 3 weeks in between games.
Yeah.
Some teams have done it. The Patriots have done it a little bit in the past when they've had a bye. They've played the first half. Some of those Letterman games, Fred. You
get your letter.
Everybody gets their letter in the
right.
second half.
You know, amount of snaps.
The thing about Buffalo is they're talented enough that not everybody can sit.
Right.
That's
my whole point.
They're talented enough to beat you anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what Buffalo's mentality would be like. Do we want to keep them in or out? Because I think you can make an argument if you're Buffalo, the way they've played against the Patriots, I'll take them as one of the other 7.
Right. Over Vegas.
Over any, who knows?
Or, there's really 4 teams. It's Vegas, Jets, Patriots.
The Jets have given them fits.
But there is something to be said about we never want to let the Patriots have anything. We want to dominate them. We want to keep this streak of wins going.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they could, but I would understand if they looked at it from afar and said, would I rather play if I had to play in the playoffs at some point, would I rather play the Jets or the Patriots? I'd rather play the Patriots.
Yeah.
I've had much more success against them.
It's true.
I think the Patriots are more talented than the Jets. Well,
the Jets
ish.
defense. Yeah.
I think it'd be
Patty.
Good little discussion during picks of this game of the Jets Bills this week. Another kind of rematch. I feel like the Bills are going to
Oh, I think they're going to take him to the woodshed.
Yeah, that's
on Sunday. I think they're tired of people like me saying the Jets have given the Bills problems.
I know. Anthony in Hertfordshire, England, or Shire.
Sounds right.
Whatever.
Sure.
Don't have Eric here to correct me. Just wanted to say how much I enjoyed Tuesday's show. It was really interesting to hear everyone's take on the current situation and the possible moves which will be made after the season. I have one question. Does the crew think Bill will pass Don Shula's record for most wins as a coach? And if so, will he do it as the head coach of the Patriots?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I do.
Wow. So he needs about what?
21.
21? So that could be anywhere from
2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
Or 4. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
I thought 3 was a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, how many middling seasons are the Crafts willing to accept? You know, unless they find talent. I mean, they got to find talent. I think.
So you're saying if he doesn't do it in 2 seasons, he's not going to do it as a Patriots coach?
I mean, I think next season might be the turning point where either the team seems like it finds some players who can play and at a plus level and win games.
So let's say he gets 3 more wins this season, right?
Right.
So that means he needs 18 more.
Right. 9-9.
9-9. I mean, that's feasible.
That's why I said 2 to 3 more seasons. 2 is 9-9.
I mean, I feel kind of like I feel about the Patriots season like this year. Like, could it happen? Yeah. But I think you'd need to see some major changes as far as the team is over the next year. And it needs to happen very, very soon. Because I don't know. I mean, do you think this is a 500 team the next couple years based on how it's been going?
I hope not.
Well,
maybe.
We'll see what they, it's hard to say what they're going to be the next couple of years without knowing what the roster is going to look like. But I think it's a 500 team the last 2 years. And that's what their talent to me showed.
Well,
and, they were able to go 10-7 last year. It looks like they're probably going to go, 8-9, 9-8 maybe if everything falls right.
That's why I feel like this year, I mean, building off of last year, I might have said yes, but this year it feels like things have regressed. Things are not heading in the right direction. Do I think that a continuation of what this offense is into 2023 is going to get them to 8 wins next year? Right. I don't know. You're going to have some significant issues to deal with.
It's hard to make that determination.
We don't know what the hell's going on with Kendrick Bourne. Jacoby Myers is a free agent. There's already, some just Evan mentioned speculation of, Hunter Henry having an out in his contract. So, hey, let's run back the offense, but let's also get rid of Mac's 3 favorite guys that he's been throwing to. You got to make some effort to figure out what you're doing. And
what are they going to do with the O-line? Rich in New York City, big fan of the show. I grew up about 15 minutes away from the stadium when it was Sullivan, then Foxborough Stadium before it became Gillette, and the Patriots became a dynasty with Kraft buying the team and Parcells coming in the prior year to coach. What are your thoughts on Kraft making a big change so this team does not revert back to the Victor Kiam, Dick McPherson type of era?
Well, I mean, if he makes a big change, what makes you convinced that it wouldn't be? I mean,
change for change's sake isn't always good.
It doesn't guarantee that. Right. Oh, let's get rid of Bill. I mean, you're throwing it up into the wind.
And I'm not gonna listen. I think the email is exaggerating to make a fact. Who does that more than me? I mean, I do that too, but. Don't forget just how bad it was with the Victor Kiam, Dick McPherson era. I don't think we'll ever see those days as long as Robert Kraft is in charge.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But I think the thing that was interesting to me, the Cardinals, what are they, 4-8? Is that what they are? Is that right?
Yeah.
Just the similarities. Listening to them kind of talk in the locker room of the conversations that they have, it sounds exactly like what we say. And they're a talented team. I mean, I think if you stack the talent, you'd probably pick the Cardinals in terms of Hopkins alone is probably better than anybody the Patriots have.
Well, you rattled off the receivers. You get down to the 5th receiver, you'd probably take him over anybody the Patriots have.
That's my whole point. It's
a guy that people coveted in the offseason.
How many questions do we get about Robbie Anderson?
That's what I'm saying. It's a guy people wanted.
He's playing like 10 snaps a game. But the things that you hear, it's just these are teams that can't get out of their own way, and it's always one thing or another. If it's all right, it's great. Patriots haven't turned the ball over. Paul, I mean, it was excellent how we laid it out yesterday. They haven't turned the ball over in the 3 weeks. They've shortened things up, but they're not scoring. It's whack-a-mole with these teams, and certainly injuries are a big factor. And for both teams, I mean, the Patriots are starting a guy that was on the Jets 2 weeks ago at right tackle, but you see teams that can't quite get in line, and it's. And I don't want to say it's not related to talent, but just losing teams or middling teams, they all kind of have the same characteristics. And I think that even though the Patriots are technically a 500 team, and the Cardinals are a losing team right now, there are a lot of things you're like, man, this sounds really familiar to me right now, what they're saying to their team as to what we're talking about with the Patriots.
855 past 500. Let's go to Willem and Philem. What's up, William?
What's going on, Fred? How you doing?
Good.
Okay. I don't have the Patriots making the playoffs this season.
Yeah.
Not when you got to face receivers like Diggs, Chase, what's the other one? Tyreek Hill.
I know. I had him at 8-9.
Murderers Row. Hopkins and Adams.
I had him at 8-9 before the season, and I see a real good path to that number.
You do?
Yeah, I see maybe winning the next two, but losing the last three.
Yep. I don't know about the next.
Yeah, that's about right. That would sound about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question I want to ask you. Could you see something of Mac Jones asking Bill after the season is done to ask for a trade?
I saw this yesterday.
Oh.
Orlovsky, I think, said it on EEI.
If that's the case, then it's a lot worse than even we think it is right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Would that be unprecedented?
All right. Thanks.
I mean, Mac is fine. Like, you had a good year, but I mean, after 2 years, a first-round pick quarterback saying, "I want out. This isn't working for me."
That would be a big blow to the organization.
But here's what
it would.
Here's what I have to say about that.
Okay.
No, but in all seriousness, it probably would be largely unprecedented. I'm not like nothing's coming to mind for anybody doing that quickly. But I also sort of look at this a little bit differently, and like the current landscape right now of athletics and what's going on, say, in college. And I'll talk to you like in all sports, in like basketball, these kids, they go into a program, they don't like what's going on, they go to another program. They don't like what's going on there, they go to another program. They go to high school. I know kids that transferred high schools 3 times.
Yeah.
4 years, 3 different high schools.
Wow.
You go to colleges, you get to college, and it's, I'm a true freshman. I walked in and you didn't just hand me the keys to the ship. I'm out of here. I'm going in the transfer portal because it's just too easy now to change.
Yep.
And I think that's the environment that these young players advanced in.
Yeah.
That's what they know. Baker Mayfield, moved around from Texas Tech to Oklahoma.
And he's the
number
Burrow.
1 overall pick. Joe Burrow
Mac's
did the
kind of
same.
the exception.
Joe Burrow did the same thing.
Hurts.
And a lot of these guys, it's nothing. Like to you and me, Mike, it might be like a life-changing, like when you decided to go to Vermont Academy, that might have been like a life-changing decision for you that you maybe really agonized over.
Yeah.
For these kids, it might be something they saw on TikTok over the weekend and they just decided to do it.
Yeah.
So while I would say it's probably unprecedented for Mac Jones to say, you're going to trade me, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
We're in different times now. I would also just highlight, Mac going to Alabama, wanting to be at Alabama, sitting there, and I mean, could have done it then.
Right. But why? Wanting to be at Alabama.
Right.
He basically kind of wormed his way into Alabama.
Yeah, and then tying it into what he said to the commissioner right after he was drafted. This is where I wanted to be, the Patriots.
So we'll see.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Like Alabama is something that he dreamed of.
But
I don't think he has that affinity.
Right.
To
no,
the
I don't want to make that same comparison, but I still think that.
But
2 years ago.
But think of how bad it would have to be in his mind to publicly come out and say, "I want to be."
So
traded.
would you be surprised if that happened?
Yes.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I really wouldn't.
I would.
I would be very surprised.
I'm just listening to him talk every week. He just does not sound like a happy camper.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that he's going to want to see change in the offseason too. And like I said, I think change is coming.
Okay, so what if it doesn't? Would you be surprised if he demanded a trade?
Um,
What if Bill O'Brien, we talked about this ad nauseum yesterday, what if he doesn't come back and they just say, well, we're just sticking with Patricia?
And they let Myers walk too?
I'd be surprised if he didn't, if that happens. If they make changes, I'd probably be a little surprised if they made changes and he still asked for a trade.
Well, if they don't make changes and he asks for a trade, it will confirm a lot of what people are speculating now.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think there's a lot of information still to come in that will inform what we're going to say in the offseason.
Always is.
Yeah. But I also think the Jacoby Myers situation is a fascinating one as to what the team's going to do as a guy that Mac has, been vocal about that he loves. And, if you're...
Don't you think they should keep him?
Of course.
I mean, you got to keep
Jacoby?
somebody.
Yeah.
Myers.
Oh yeah. No, I said before, I'm at a point now with Jacoby, I just want him to get paid and be happy. And if it's here, great. But if it's not, he's one of the first guys ever in the Patriots that I'll be happy for to leave. But
I will be too.
But I think that want to keep Mac happy, and if he really is this unhappy and on the and if he was considering asking for a trade, like small things like retaining Jacoby Myers, that goes a little bit of a way. I mean, we don't know truly how he feels about the setup of the coaches, but that would be another area where are we going to make a change to make Mac happy? Is that is that going to be a theme of the offseason?
No, truly,
make Mac
if he has
happy.
to be traded.
Right.
Let's go to Mike in Puerto Rico. What's up, Mike?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Happy holidays, and I'm glad that, this 8 time allows you to cool down, because I was going to call after the game on this past week on Thursday, because I was just livid. I don't make that much money, and after a couple of – I make a comfortable living, let's put it that way. But then after the last couple of wins, everything looking like it was on its way up, I made a financial commitment to go to both the Raiders and the Cardinals game, which are pretty expensive, all things considered.
Refundable?
And then all of the travel, all of the lodging and all that stuff. And then I just watched that fiasco on Thursday, and I was just livid. And I just literally had a hard time just looking at the person that I'm going with, my fiance, and justifying it. He's like, this stresses you out. This puts you in a bad mood, and now we're going to spend all this money to go over there. I mean,
yeah, she doesn't want to be around you if you're in a bad mood.
It's Vegas,
right?
So you'll be okay. Vegas, all right.
Vegas, baby.
I know, but
I hear you though, Mike.
At the same time,
it's frustrating.
I'm going to be totally thinking of you now how these two games go, as somebody who used to have to put up funds to go and do trips for Patriots and stuff.
It's frustrating because you invest your time, and I get it. Like we had a guy that on the post game show that was like really emotional after the game Thursday night. Remember that? It's like I put my blood, sweat, and I kind of I was poking fun at him a little bit, but I get it. I get the emotion. I'm not that far removed from being one of those wackadoodles in the stands. I was with you. I was there.
So Mike, bottom line, are you going?
And I say
You're
that
still
with all
going,
the
right?
love.
Oh, I'm going, and I'll be honest. Some of the motivation has come back into it because of hearing the post game show, and then Tuesday show was like a top 5 of all time, and then you guys just bringing me back down, and okay, well, it's a process. Let's go into it. But most importantly, I really appreciate the fact that you guys are starting to hold the proper. You're starting to hold everybody accountable on this, meaning that the Belichick and Patricia and all that stuff, and now the media seems to be like, okay, the shine is coming off of the off of the jewelry with Belichick, and it's like, okay, what are we doing to correct this?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to see this team turn around, in a dramatic way this week, but
yeah.
At least I'll.
Look at it this way. I don't know. I don't know if you're like me, but I hate going to weddings. I think they're a waste of time. But
as you proved at mine,
I had a good time. But you can hate going to weddings, but you can still have a good time at the wedding. You know what I mean? So make your own good time.
No.
Forget about the just go. Enjoy Arizona, enjoy Las Vegas, make everything else great, and then if they lose, they lose.
Yeah, Mike, you live in Florida, right? So I mean, is that
no?
Puerto Rico. Sorry.
Well, he's in California now, right?
In the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But the thing that's great too is, as Fred said on the show the other day, there's a huge Patriots contingent there. So for me, when I used to go to games, like it was as much about like meeting the congregation, like my friends, my Patriot fan brothers, and all these people from across the country that you might have nothing in common with other than you're rooting for this football team. So I always took some value from that too, being in that crowd. And there's going to be a good Patriots crowd there.
And by the way, you mentioned I think there is an event in Arizona at a place called Tusso's Sunday night. So I think there's going to be a big fan gathering there.
Is that Barry?
If anyone's listening, Scott Holt, who is with the Arizona club, or Barry, if you want to call in and give us the deets on that. I think it's Sunday night, and there's going to be a tailgate on Monday in Arizona. So
it's one of the biggest fan clubs.
I'll never
Huge.
forget
Arizona.
when we played at University of Arizona.
Tempe. It's
Tempe.
Sun Devil Stadium.
And it was a home.
The whole
it
thing.
was literally a home game. It was unbelievable.
It was like a bowl. It was like it went like 3/4 of the way around. It was like a bowl. It was a college. It's a college stadium. Obviously, it's Arizona State's place. This is before they built the new joint, and it was all the way around. All Patriots fans, all the way around the bend. It was unreal.
Yeah, I'd never seen anything like that on the road. We came close in San Diego. That was pretty good attendance.
Yeah.
But that Arizona game I'd never seen anything like that.
Well, gonna need you guys this weekend.
Yeah. But getting back to
3-3 at home, 3-3 on the road.
Getting back to
Cardinals are terrible.
Fans getting like really upset when they lose. I get that. I get that. What I don't get is when fans say, "I'm embarrassed." They're embarrassing me. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why you're embarrassed because the Patriots are, unless you're the biggest trash talker and now you're eating crow every week. Yeah. But like be upset, be sad, be disappointed. But why are you embarrassed? Like, the game's
Nobody
over.
knows.
You didn't play in it. You didn't. Your kid's not in the game. Like, why are you embarrassed? I never understood that.
Unless you're every day walking around like the Silver Bullet and you're all dressed up like Pat Patriot.
Well, then you should be embarrassed anyway. You should be embarrassed even if they win. Oh my God!
Like everywhere I go, jacked out in my Patriot stuff, people are yelling at me.
I get all the. I don't get the embarrassed motion.
No.
That part of it,
What about the I'm out? Do you think anybody can really?
Yeah,
are you really a real fan?
I hate that too.
If you can just
that's
tap out on
that's
your
emotion.
Yeah.
That's Paul.
I'm out.
That's Paul Andy
right,
like emotion. Like, that's not real.
Yeah,
you're not really.
That's like Paul, slamming down the D'Angelo sub because he didn't like the.
Didn't happen.
It's all performative. It's performative. Yeah,
D'Angelo subs.
It didn't happen. It happened.
It's quality turkey right there.
It was so funny. I mean, he says it doesn't happen. It happened.
Oh no, that didn't happen. I didn't slam any. First of all, I wouldn't do that.
We were all sitting at the table.
I wouldn't do that to food.
He comes walking up because we're waiting for the food to be served. He comes walking up, sits down, and just puts the sandwich in the middle of the table.
If he wants to say that I walked through the press box with attitude to let everybody know, I would absolutely. I'd cop to that.
Yeah.
Did you put it down with vigor?
And then when you sat down, what did you do?
I just put my sandwich down and sat down and ate it. I wouldn't do that.
No.
So you weren't trying to make a statement.
You didn't
No.
No.
Didn't necessarily say I wasn't making a statement.
He put it right in the middle of the
table. I had
table.
one too many pieces of chicken with the bone in it.
He put right in the. It was. And
I
we
feel
all
your pain.
And everybody was pissed, but I was the only one that did anything about it.
And we were cracking up, like we were all laughing because we knew what he was doing. It's like, I've had it.
I literally went to the line, turned, and said, "I can't do this again. I'm going to D'Angelo's." And I went to get a sub, and I was back in 10 minutes, and they would die. Fred's right; they would die and laughing.
That might be me on steak tips next week.
Steak tips like filet mignon compared to that chicken with the bone in it that you got every single.
No, it's not bad food. It's just the same thing.
Right.
Every week.
No, I know. You just switch it up.
Melvin's in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Hey, Mo.
Hey. To get to the game real quick, I think the Patriots will win, say, around 23-20. Of course, the problem with that is I don't think they can win both of those games. So that's going to be, I guess, tough going forward. And the bigger picture, I got is in regards to the division, I guess this year's been more apparent that so far the Bills and Dolphins basically own you.
Yep.
You haven't given them, too much resistance for a while. You're very much so staring into fourth place, and the only person making any narrowing of gaps is the Jets. So the Jets are coming, and so far 1 and 2 in our division, you're far away from, in my opinion. These teams basically have to show, like almost like the Bills did, play a C-level game and they can handle you. We'll see what the Dolphins do, but at least the Jets did. I mean, have competed with them a little recently. So I just want to see what are we looking like when it comes to beating teams in the division. Because if we're struggling that bad against the division teams, we got a long road ahead. Like the playoffs is, I mean, clearly you got to win the division to even get close. But if you're going to be kicked around in the division, it's going to be like this going forward for a while. Can't get in.
I totally agree.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that, and I agree with Melvin. I think right now it looks like if you end up finishing third, it's going to be because you have those two head-to-head wins.
Right, and
like
really,
the best I can
Melvin.
see is tying the Jets.
Right, and really, you should have finished third last year, probably based on your divisional results. I mean, you got Miami in the 2020 opener when you sprung Cam Newton in the running offense on him, and then you got Buffalo in the win last year. I mean, it's something I feel like I talked about probably ad nauseum this offseason, which just, everybody wants to talk about where they are in the AFC. I'm just try to win try to get a position in the AFC East. Last year they lost both to the Dolphins. They won that one of the Bills, but interesting to see what they got against the Dolphins here. Tua in the cold. They haven't really had any answers for him. They're an explosive offense. I'll be really interested to see that.
It might be the next asterisk that went alongside the wind game in Buffalo. Maybe it's one of those days.
A snow game and Tua.
Because I can't see Tua, running around in terrible weather and being the same.
I know I know it sounds weird, but I'm happy for these games coming up because I just want to know.
Yeah.
I just want to know if we get blitzed by Cincinnati and Buffalo and good.
You're going to know right where you stand
let's
at the end
go
of
into
the
the offseason with they won the game, but
I just
want to know the facts.
Yeah.
Like how far away are we?
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying, and I think that you always have to wait to see how games unfold and play out.
Yeah, you didn't say the Buffalo game last year,
right? Like I can look on the paper and say, well, you went 1-1 against them. Like, it was so bad. But that there was something
unique,
different.
Special game.
To me, I think you kind of know. I know what this team is like. Listen, can they surprise us all in these last 5 games and do something they haven't done in 2 years? Sure. Absolutely. I don't ever say that nothing can happen. Like, that league, there's not that big a difference between the really good teams and the really bad ones. Like, it's not college. Like, there's not this gulf of talent that you can't overcome. But I just look at it, the last 2 years, you've had a hard time consistently stacking up against good teams. Yeah. You might be able to beat a couple of them this year, down the stretch that you didn't beat last year. But I don't really think that changes much unless we see a whole different way of playing. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, wow, they're just clicking now, and the defense is shutting them down, and it's not the weather, it's not anything. They're just better than the others. Like, that could happen.
Another 3-and-out for Josh Allen.
Right. Boy, it's 8 3-and-outs for the Bills. I'm sorry if I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. And I think the thing though this year is different to me just because of the offensive inability to do anything. And when Josh was here last year and you still kind of believed that they might be able to do what you said and put it together because I think there were more glimpses
sure I remember
of it.
talking about it in the playoff game, heading into the playoff game. Buffalo could still, it's still the Patriots in the playoffs. Yeah. How wrong was I? 47-17.
Similar position last year to where they are now. I had some hope. This year I'm skeptical they're going to be
If I'm going to be wrong now, I'm going to be wrong the other way.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more calls and emails. Evan will be back from practice, and we'll do our picks right after this.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment day in and day out to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible.
No way. As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment day in and day out to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
What's up, everybody? Check out this snippet from the latest episode of Pats from the Past with Logan Mankins.
What about Channing Crowder?
Yeah, we didn't like him either.
I was going to get to my individuals. One of my all-time great Logan Mankins post-game meetings in the locker room. I believe Matt Light had his way a little bit with Channing Crowder.
Yeah.
And I was asking you, so what happened? He goes, I don't know. I just looked up and I saw Matt pounding him on the head, so that was pretty cool.
It was me and Light always had an understanding. There was the only words spoken were "be ready," and he wasn't usually next to me on field goal. And I look, and that year he wasn't, because that was the year he had like a broken hand or something. So he had this cast on his hand to begin with, and he's lining up next to me, and I'm like, "What the heck's Matt doing?" He's like, "Be ready." So I'm like walking, and I look over, and Matt's like pulling his helmet off and then trying to hit him on the head with his cast, and then it turned into a whole melee. So,
and he had, you see that smirk on his face? That's how he told the story to me in the postgame. It's like, yeah, you just pounded on him on his head.
Yeah, it was great. But Crowder, he'd been antagonizing Matt the whole game, and we were beating him pretty good by then. So Matt just lit the fuse a little bit and lost it. And Matt was he was a great teammate too. I remember we played Detroit one year. I don't know if it was on Thanksgiving or not, but me and Sue had been fighting the whole game, and it came time for field goal, and that year Matt was next to me on field goal, and I just said, "Get ready," and I knew. I jumped. Sue came low on the field goal. I jumped back, and I was pulling his helmet off, And I look to my side, and Matt's just punching him in the ribs as hard as he can and as fast as he can.
No
Those
call.
are the kind of teammates you want, right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that was even better because the referees only threw a penalty on Sue, no one else.
All right. That was a clip of Pats from the Past with Paul and No Socks. They had Logan Mankins for the last episode, and I just listened to it this morning. Real good stuff.
Great one. Great one. Great job,
But
guys.
you guys couldn't fawn any more over a player than the two of you did him.
No question.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
No question.
Deservingly so.
Guilty as charged.
He's so likable.
Yeah.
I mean, Mankins, he just comes off as...
I get made fun of. He calls me anything but Patriots.com. He makes fun of me for fawning over the players.
Well, he likes the players. He just doesn't like the team.
I just don't like you.
How much did you work on your Mankins impression? You seem like you got that down. You went right to it. You didn't even hesitate with him in the room.
Andy and I have gone over that story many times. I don't know. It's good.
Hey, you know what?
Little Canadian.
Time is running out, not just on the Patriots season, but Bridgestone is the official tire of New England Patriots, and Bridgestone tires are now on sale only through December 10th. So you better hurry. Even if you don't need the tires now, buy them at the reduced price, and then just keep them somewhere.
Throw a
and when you
football
need
through
'em,
them, whatever you want to
In
do.
your
Run
tire
through 'em.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a totally
So
Agility drills.
they're on sale at all Sullivan Tire locations. Visit sullivantire.com for a location near you. So there you go. All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. But Evan
Has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, Evan, the floor is yours.
Did that one for the YouTube.
So the Patriots were back on the practice field here today on Thursday. Thursday is a Wednesday, but it's kind of a Thursday, but it's a Wednesday. I don't know. This week is all
Forget
messed
about
on.
it.
Even Fred doesn't
Forget
want to do
about
it
it.
this week.
Anyways, so coming back from practice after not being here on Tuesday, so players returning to Patriots practice on Thursday include Yadni Kajust, Mike Onwenu, and Jabril Peppers. So that's the good news. They got two guys back on the offensive line. I think Peppers also could play an important role in this game as well against Kyler Murray. So I think that's good news for the Patriots. Here's the bad news, however. Jalen Mills, Jacoby Myers, Damian Harris, Isaiah Wynn, and Trent Brown still not at Patriots practice. Myers injured at the end of that game last week and didn't speak after the game either. We were told that he was not allowed to speak. So either concussion protocol, re-aggravated that shoulder, whatever the case may be. Both tackles missing. Mills missing again. So, yeah, still some key players out for the Patriots.
I mean, that must be a hell of an illness for Trent Brown.
That's what I wonder. I mean, we'll see the injury report this afternoon exactly what it is, but
yeah,
it's the two top tackles. I mean, you're down to Kajust and McDermott as your
you
starters.
get a team that loves to pressure.
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh. Man, this game is tough. It's never easy on you. Like it never you game back against the wall and you need everybody. And if some people got sick, they can't play. It's tough. It's tough to deal with.
Sam Ellinger available? That'd be a good opponent for this week.
I think, you were rattling off, some past games before Paul, and, you said, I don't know what this team's situation was in that game. Somebody should come out with, historical schedules of, what the condition of the team was in that game. So you could look at...
Outsiders does a little of that.
They do that?
Yeah. Some of the DVOA takes into account, absences for injury and
but just
weather
even,
conditions,
just
right?
Patriots beat the Bills, 2 years ago. Whatever the footnote is, someone should compile that. What were the other conditions, whether it's injuries or weather, that led to that result?
Was it a real win or was it...
DVOA does that to an extent. That's sort of the idea that they have adjustments for weather, playing a backup quarterback. That's why, for example, DVOA doesn't really like the Vikings, is because early on in the season they're beating up on a bunch of backup quarterbacks. So they have the Vikings middle of the pack in DVOA, despite the fact that they're 10-2. So there's some adjustments being
more on
made
that
there.
later.
What do you know off the top of your head what the Patriots' run defense DVOA is? Paul asked me earlier in the show, and
they've been good against the run outside of like a couple games. So their run defense DVOA has been high. I don't know the exact number, but I can look it up quickly.
Yeah,
in
well,
a
the
second.
reason why I asked was because I did the matchups with Arizona, and I don't really look at the DVOA stuff because I'm not as sophisticated. I mean, not even making fun of you. I just don't.
No.
It's
You got your methodology.
but it's more of a quick hitter kind of thing. I'm not really delving into Warren Sharp analysis for that those matchups. And
Aaron Schatz, wrong guy.
Oh.
No, Warren Sharp analysis. Warren Sharp on football. I'm not talking about football outsiders.
I think it was just general. Yeah.
Did you ever go on the Warren Sharp site?
I know he stopped doing
That'll
it.
make your eyes bleed.
No, I know he stopped doing it.
So they're 7th in DVOA against the run right now. 3rd against the pass. 7th
See,
against
now
the run.
I just think it's really striking how similar their numbers are against the run, both in terms of yards allowed and average per carry.
Yeah.
And one is 29th and one is 7th in DVOA. I think that's a striking difference. The Patriots actually allow more rushing yards per game than the Cardinals do. Now, the Cardinals allow more per carry than the Patriots
So I believe
do.
they're 20th against the rest of the Cardinals. They just a squiggle, but it's point stance.
Oh, 20th.
20th.
Oh,
yeah.
so it's
I
not
just
as
had
big a
squiggle.
gap. Okay.
Yeah, not quite.
They're
sorry.
19th.
19th.
Oh, all right. So this makes more
We're
sense now.
slowly
I'm
getting closer.
But
it's much
this is what
closer than I thought. Okay.
This is what I do like about DVOA, though, because not all rushing yards are equal.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and that's a big part of why the Patriots, I think, have been good in rush DVOA this year, is because there's a big difference between giving up, 1st and 10 3 yards and 3rd and 1 3 yards, and they have situationally been able to stop the run pretty well. And outside of the mobile quarterback games against Fields and against Lamar, they've done okay. I mean, the Green Bay game is another good example because they gave up 199 yards on the ground, but that game plan was about Aaron Rodgers, right? Like that game plan wasn't to go in and load up and load the box and have base defense out there and stop the run.
Right.
It was a game plan that was
Same thing
designed to
Thursday
stop
night.
the pass. Right.
But and you'll be surprised to hear this. I actually made the comment that I think the Patriots have been pretty good. I mean, not great, but much better than the recent past against the run. They've had a couple of blips on the radar, and the Cardinals, like I said, I think it's 110.8 to 111.2. That's the gross numbers.
Yeah.
Like that's what they've allowed rushing yards per game. And at the time, we thought 29th, not 19th. That's a big difference.
It must be 9. Yeah, that could be an easy mix-up.
Yeah, so 29th, and I was like, there's no way the Patriots are way down in DVO.
Yes.
They've been pretty good against the run.
Yeah. Especially if you extrapolate the Bears and the Ravens game and you just grade it off of the rest of the season and kind of look at to kind of take it a step
Are you
forward.
trying to grade on curve right now?
I would look at it as traditional run games versus quarterback run games. And against teams that just are under center and turn around and hand the ball off to the running back, they've been one of the best teams in the league at stopping
that
the
game
run.
against Chubb really helped their numbers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of the numbers, like that helped their gross numbers. Like Chubb averaged like 5.6 a carry in that game.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Evan, first part of the show, we dove into the Cardinals.
Yes.
What were the matchups here? Where do you see the Patriots having an advantage in this game?
An advantage.
Drum roll.
Like what? Yeah. Like I was listening this morning, and they were saying
silence is definitely.
The Cardinals' defense is really good about not giving up the big pass, but they're terrible in mid and short passing.
I think their secondary can be had if you can block. But that if you can block for this team right now is a big...
Can Connor McDermott block?
They're a team that they bring a lot of fire zones, right? They bring a lot of zone pressure from all different areas of their defense. And if you can get it blocked, then that leaves them with 5 or 6 guys in the back end trying to cover a whole lot of grass. So in a lot of ways, I think that their structures end up playing out a lot like Minnesota. And that could be an area where you could beat them over the top with the passing game, just like you did with the Vikings. But the Vikings were not a pressure team. The Vikings were a 4-man rush team. So it's definitely different on how they get to cover 2, right? They play a lot of 2 deep, but it's different how they get to that. So that's, I think, a big issue if you're the Patriots. I think the one advantage that they will have in this game defensively is that I do like their odds of turning this game at times into a drop back pass game for Kyler Murray, where it's not first down where he's running, it's not RPO, and it's just straight traditional drop back passing. And if you can get him into those situations where he has to beat you from the pocket, then I think that they can have some wins defensively against Arizona. But, that means stopping the run on early downs. That means stopping RPO. That means stopping DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the first kind of 3 boxes you have to check so that you can get them into 3rd and 10 and take advantage of some of those things.
Have problems with all those things,
Yeah.
Stop being so negative.
Sorry. Highlighting.
And I'd be curious, like you keep making, you made that comment about they're good at stopping the big play, but not so good at, allowing people to, paper cut you to death.
Yeah.
I just wonder if, Vance having the time of his life, Joseph, has watched any of the Patriots offense this year and says, maybe we don't have to focus so much on taking away the big plays because they don't get a lot of those.
Right.
Yeah. They don't try a lot of those.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Maybe we can get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
With the
Get
blitz
people
pressure
close.
that
It's
you
hard
guys
to
have
get
been
more
talking about.
aggressive than they already
No,
are.
but I'm talking about with your coverage. Marry your
Right.
coverage with your pressure, as
It's
opposed
funny
to
because
we're going to pressure, and if we don't get there, we're going to keep everything in front of us.
They are a team, I've watched a couple of their games last week, and they are a defense that kind of does what they do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they are going to completely change it up, but what they do is very multiple. And that was what Belichick was talking about
he did
the
say
other
that
day.
a lot the other day.
They run a bunch of different personnel groupings. They run a bunch of different coverages, and they have different guys like an Isaiah Simmons, for example, who Bill is talking about. What is he? Is he a linebacker? Is he an end? Is he a corner?
He's listed on the depth chart as both a starting linebacker and a backup safety.
Right.
And that's what he was at Clemson.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to because of his versatility, they can be so many different things at once. Now, it hasn't added up in terms of, statistically, they are not a good defense. So it's not like it's really added up much, but I think that this speaks to their entire operation where the talent on the roster is not indicative of a 4-8 team. Like, they have a lot more talent that they're just not getting enough out of.
Yep.
And I would say on defense, it's true as well. I mean, Simmons, Budda Baker, I'm sure Mike loves Zaven Collins as much as all of us in the draft. They have good players on both sides of the ball.
Looking at it, their numbers are terrible, but it's like anybody else. It's not like they give up like 38 every game. It's 44, then 20, then 16, then 34 and 34 in back-to-back weeks. So if you get them in the week that they allow 34, great, you win. But what if you only score 20?
Yeah, the Chargers had a tough time in that game because they didn't have Mike Williams. And without Mike Williams, they had nobody that could win a one-on-one on the outside in their receiving corps, and they just blitzed from the middle of the field the entire game.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem for us.
And so that was the problem. But they do run some zero, right? Some cover zero as well, and they just had nobody that Justin Herbert could just toss one up to. I mean, I don't know if Devontae Parker is really that guy that we want to do that with, or he's not Mike Williams. I don't think he's on Mike Williams' level, but the Patriots do have Devontae Parker who could maybe go up, and if it's 3rd and 8 and they decide to bring a zero and all he can do is heave it up to somebody against the single coverage, then there's worse guys to have than win a jump ball down the field.
Yeah, and when I was talking about sort of marrying the pressure with your coverage as opposed to playing soft coverage, knowing that you're bringing it all. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch any of the Miami-San Francisco game?
A little bit of it.
So when Brock Purdy goes in that game, obviously Miami just said we're going to go after this kid every play.
Yeah.
And they got there almost every play, but they didn't marry the coverage with it, and he just kept dinking them to death. It was Juszczyk, it was McCaffrey, and obviously McCaffrey's an excellent player. I'm not saying that, but at some point they needed to move everybody up and say, if he's going to beat me on a zero blitz or something, he's going to need to make a good throw as opposed to flipping it 3 yards to the side and letting Christian McCaffrey beat somebody in space. Yeah. And they never really did that. Even at the very end of the game when they were desperate, they still churned out first downs. And Purdy played well. I give him credit.
Do you think he's any good?
They're pumping him up right now.
They're trying. He's pretty.
Walked right into that one.
Yep, you did.
It kills me with San Francisco because that's when you look at the way that they're built offensively. That's exactly what I wish that we were going for here, right? And they identified it and they said, it's probably going to be Jimmy for us this year. Might be Jimmy for us long term if he stays healthy, at least for the next couple of years. So we have to go out and make that Christian McCaffrey trade because we have to just surround this guy with as many playmakers as possible. So they have Trent Williams, who's probably the best tackle in the NFL. So they have a good offensive line. They have all these playmakers with the ball in their hands, Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey, and the quarterback. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, right? You can
Ball
put
distributor,
You
right?
can put in Purdy, you can put in Jimmy G. It's not going to matter because anybody can throw a 5-yard pass to Christian McCaffrey. So it kills me to watch teams like the 49ers because they're so well coordinated. Their plan is so sound and their scheme is so sound. And then they also realize, okay, our quarterback is not a difference maker or a big-time elite playmaker. He's somebody that we're going to have to prop up, and they have no problem with going out and doing that.
Yeah, it was one of some of my favorite parts on Hard Knocks was just the prep for San Francisco and the coaches giving the game plan to the players and talking about just how tough Debo and McCaffrey. I mean, the two of them, they just went on and on about how good they were and all the problems.
The other guy now, what's his name?
Ayuk?
Yeah, Ayuk.
He's a good player too, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was he's behind Nikhil.
They got playmakers, and it's not just playmakers, just like in a Madden sense of like we're just going to buy all these guys. They all are great with the ball in their hands, and they have this scheme that is great at getting them in space, and it just is a perfect marriage of skill player and scheme.
You just look at them on paper and you're like, this is a tough team. Like you can just tell by how all their players, their offensive line.
And all that said, I'm far more impressed with the other side of the ball with them.
Defense, I know.
They lose personnel every week, and it just doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
They just dominate.
All they
teams.
highlighted in the Hard Knocks was Fred Warner and Bosa. Those were the two, and that
like
was
Dre Greenlaw. They're so active and physical in the back seven, and then forget about it when they get a lead and Bosa is coming off the edge and
I mean, every time I see Fred Warner play, it's like, why? Like, why can't we find a
good.
guy like this?
He good.
Big and can run.
And it also just shows that all this talk about like building like a strong middle class, like they have both. Like why not have both, right? Like they have elite players that are best players at their position type players like Bosa and Trent Williams, and then they also have good roster depth. So it just they have a great team.
Let's go to Todd, North Carolina. Hey, Todd.
Hey guys, I'm glad that you've been talking about Miami game with San Fran because I think that's a good example of what happens if you don't have your tackles then playing well. Well, he didn't even have his tackles, Tua. And you guys have made some comps, at least Evan has, between Tua and Mac. Mac hasn't had a tackle play well all year pretty much. So how is he supposed to succeed? And look, Tua, he's got the great weapons, he's got everything, but no tackles, no success.
Do you think Tua played well on Sunday?
Dan Orlovsky did.
I don't think Tua had a chance. I think Tua was looking down
he sucked.
Field wondering
I think he had wide open guys all over the field, and he just missed them.
It was a NFL Live.
Yep.
They got into it about this.
Those are just two teams, though, that I think
Orlovsky's in a hole, and he ain't coming out.
Yeah. Those are just two teams,
Thanks,
though, that
Todd.
I think when you watch that game, which I'm glad you brought up, those are two teams that don't have Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback, that don't have Josh Allen playing quarterback, but they have made the situation for the quarterback 100%.
I would agree.
As much as they possibly can. And it just, I was going through this 7-week stretch of Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins. They play 6 of the top 7 receivers in receiving yards per game in the back half of the schedule. And Jalen Waddle's number 9 or number 10 on the list, too, and he's the second guy in Miami. And my first reaction is, oh, crap, like the defense is, how are they going to stop all these guys? But then my second reaction is, if half your schedule has a number 1 receiver, that means that the league has a lot of number 1 receivers.
Right.
So you're
the point I was making the week of the Jefferson game.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's really good.
Well, it's the point
Receivers are really good.
It's the point Bill made after I forget which game, and they were talking about receivers like, we're gonna face a lot of these.
Well, he
guys.
said about this guy that he's as good as anybody he's ever coached against.
Yeah.
Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, if 25 teams in the league have a guy, then how is it so hard to find a guy, right? Like, it shouldn't be, is the point.
Mike brought up a good, you were kind of under your breath there, but like N'Keal Harry, Brandon Ayuk, they played together at Arizona State.
Yeah. That was one of my combine trips. I remember talking, I think it was the first one we went to in 2020 before all hell broke loose, but asking him about N'Keal and all that.
Eldred's in North Carolina. Hey, Eldred.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing today? Hey, Evan.
Hey, Eldred.
Hello.
The question that you're talking about, everybody else, they don't have our GM. That's the problem. And I'm hoping, and Fred, to answer your question about how can fans be embarrassed. No, we're not embarrassed if you play good. If you play like a team and you lose, that's great. But when you got nothing, on offense, and you just see them struggle and struggle. And, yeah, I was that one with the big mouth for 20 years. They talk more trash than anybody can allow. So now, like they said, they wasn't waiting till Bill leaves. They said when Tom leaves, see if you talk that same noise. Hey, I hear it every week.
Yeah.
Every day, every week.
Okay. All right.
Boy, Eldred.
So that's how that go. Yeah, that's how that go.
All right.
It's frustrating. I agree with
if Mac do decide to leave, I think that's wrong. But he wasn't my guy in the first place. But I'm getting to like the dude, and I don't think he had a fair shake. But most of this stuff is on his shoulders. But most of it no, because I think you destroyed him by bringing somebody who don't know nothing about offense and let him run the offense.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks,
What do you think you get from Mac if you traded him?
I don't know.
I mean, the price lowers once he goes public and demands.
Well, I think his price is lowered based on what you've seen. I mean, unless Orlovsky becomes a GM for somebody. Then it's like 3 firsts.
I think Tua is the only guy he likes more than Mac.
Like, I mean, I understand the larger point that Orlovsky's making. I just think last week's game wasn't the week to make that point. Like, last week, yes, the 2 tackles being out for Miami absolutely impacted the game. I watched enough. I mean, I saw enough on Red Zone to see he was under pressure a lot, but he had plays to make and didn't. And he'll be the first one to tell you. Like, some of those, to your point, Evan, you're always talking about the wonderful schemes that are designed to get these guys in the clear. They worked. The guys were in the clear against an elite defense, and he just couldn't consist. I mean, the bomb he threw to Tyreek Hill, the guy, he was wide. I mean, he hit him in stride on that one, but he had a lot of other opportunities to do that and just couldn't.
Yeah, I think to Eldred's point, and first of all, I hate that I feel like I've been so negative all week about this team, and it really is driving me nuts.
They've
but
lost 2 in a row.
To Eldred's point, I'm sick and tired of going into these games with a pea shooter. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of
like Rex Ryan.
us going into all these games, and this is not new. Like, this has been going on since 2019, and I would even say that there were signs of it in 2018 as well, until Edelman and Gronk and Brady kind of reached into the fountain of youth.
Brady just decided, all right, we're gonna score 40 because that's what I do.
Right, and they kind of pulled it out in the playoff run. But in general, there are signs of this in 2018, and then it really hit in 2019, and it hasn't changed for 4 years.
Yep.
That we go into every single game, and every single game we get into the media workroom. Bill comes in, we say, Bill, how are you guys going to stop DeAndre Hopkins next week? Bill, how are you going to stop Jamar Chase next week? Bill, how are you going to stop Tyreek Hill? And at some point in time, can we have one of those? Like, it just, and you go into these games against Buffalo, against Miami now, and you are just so undermanned. And it's so obvious looking at the 2 rosters going into the game that even a 4-8 Arizona team has an offense that scares you on paper more than the Patriots. And at some point in time, Eldred's whole thing is, we got to adapt with the times and we got to be more modern in our approach as a general manager. I agree 110% because this has been going on for 4 years now, that they are going into these games where they're going to have to score some points to win, and they don't have the horses to put up more than 30. And it's not just the quarterback. It's everything around the quarterback, too. And it's just enough is enough with it.
All right. That's a good discussion. But
hard words.
We have some important business to take care of. It's that time of the week.
Feeling good. I think I did good this week.
I have no idea how I did.
Hot start.
It was a good week for everyone.
Oh, dang it.
Absolutely good week. But it was best for young Evan.
Oh.
Young Evan.
Young Evan.
I'm turning 30 this weekend, you know
that was
That's
a reference.
young.
That was a reference to me being around before the internet. Yeah. 12,
What were
2,
you doing in
and
1992?
12, 2, and 1.
Wow. That's
wow. What does he win?
Put him out.
Okay. Mike and Paul, 11, 3, and 1.
I was gonna say.
And even in the good weeks, Fred is last. 10, 4, and 1. So, as I said, a good week for everyone. With the spread, young Evan once again, 10 and 5, followed by Mike and Paul at 9 and 6, and Fred 5 and 10.
Oh, Freddie.
So
happened?
season
You've been
standings real quick.
consistent, at least.
121, 72, and 2 for me. 120, 73, and 2 for Mike. 112, 81, and 2 for Fred. Evan, 83, 47, and 1, which is the best winning percentage of the four of us.
Wow.
At 637.
Good
That's better.
DVOA.
That's better than my 627. See,
EPA on
I do
point.
it. I do the EPOA right there. Okay. With the spread, I am 116, 76, and 3, which continues to just astound me.
Even yourself.
98, 94, and 3 for Mike. 82, 110, and 3 for Fred. Wow. 66, 62, and 3 for Evan.
Yeah.
So my winning percentage of 603 is far and away the best with the spread.
That's a
I
sharp
only,
percentage.
I only
That
wish
is.
I had a chance to
That's
catch
that's
in
a
on that.
tout percentage. That's a tout
That's
percentage.
better than a tout percentage.
Why? What's tout?
What's tout?
As long as they make more than 50%, they're happy.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm over 60.
I know. That's like ultra
Suck
sharp.
It's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's
I just keep waiting for 2, 12, and 1, and it hasn't happened. It's coming. It has to happen.
It's kind of too bad you don't have the all-time record, just to see where you stack up. Like I'm on an all-time pace, or I'd be curious if Fred is somehow
My
worse than
all-time
I
record.
was
I'm
last
sure I have
year.
notebooks in my drawers upstairs.
I have detailed
Actually,
files.
sorry, downstairs.
I
misspoke.
All right. We start with tonight, 8:15 on Prime Video. The 5-7 Raiders are at the 3-9 Rams, led by perhaps Baker Mayfield. We'll see.
And it's a health issue too. I've been seeing on for
Oh, yeah?
Wofford. It's,
He got hurt in
yeah,
the
it's
Seattle
kinda
game.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's
Neck
But this is a
injury?
good, like Max says,
Ankle,
this is
I
a good crossover game for the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
We get to scout the Raiders a little bit.
and
I'll be
Evan
watching.
introduced me to this kind of all 22-ish
yeah.
view on Amazon, which I was very, very intrigued
Yeah, I was
by.
watching the
think
All 22 live.
They have like a
during
different
Patriots
channel,
Bills.
Fred, which you're a media guy.
Yeah.
Like, so it's wide, but they have little graphics that they attach for each player's name.
So
like
is
you're
it just
seeing-
like a frame that you hit, or do you have
like
to
a
go
different-
to a different?
It's just a different
when you go to the
channel.
stream.
So you have to change channels
Yeah.
even within
Yeah.
the stream.
So we lost Paul.
So
Actually,
I'm out.
my tweet, the very first week of Prime Video, I tweeted, live all 22, it's a Christmas miracle or football season miracle or something like that, and actually made the broadcast. They put it on the
That's
broadcast.
really cool. How come I'm just hearing about this now?
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time you got to put Patriots Unfiltered in the hashtag.
So I've been geeking out about this all year.
I'm geeking about it now because I was.
That's cool. I've
But
been
now I'm like,
geeking
I'm
out
gonna
about
just
that.
throw it on. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's just a different.
Yeah, I have no
perspective.
interest
It's
in
not-
the L22, but I'm really interested in his tweet getting on
You
the
made it
national
on
broadcast.
TV.
And then they have the next gen, and it
Yeah.
shows how fast guys are running and stuff
It's
like
cool.
that.
It's
awesome.
cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
You
Different
guys
way
really
to
like
watch
that
it.
stuff.
Okay.
The next
well,
gen.
Something different.
let's pick the game.
All right, sorry.
All right,
What's the
it
number,
is Vegas by 7.
7. Yeah, man, I think Vegas is going to do it. Uncertainty at Rams quarterback. They're I think heading for the offseason, getting the golf clubs ready. I like the Raiders to win their 4th in a row, and I'm going to lay the points too. I think they take it to them.
I'm with Mike. I like the Raiders. I like them to cover, and I'm becoming a Josh fan under here.
He's turning around.
Yeah.
We've always been.
Yeah, I
Always.
think Vegas wins this game. I will lay the points, and that means no matter what happens in the desert, the following week's game will put the winner ahead of the loser. That's kind of
Big
frightening
game.
based on what the Raiders looked like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Here comes Devontae Adams.
Yeah, so they bring in Mayfield to see maybe what he's got, but if the rest of the team's laying down, are you
No
gonna,
Aaron Donald?
I will say this for the Rams. They played really hard last week.
Yeah?
Did you watch the game at all?
Against the Seahawks?
Against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Wagner had a little bee in his bonnet, as they say, and Jalen Ramsey's always like that. But
Yeah.
they played really hard. They lost with 30 seconds left. That was a very competitive game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders both ways. I was tempted to take the points, but yeah, I just don't think the Rams.
Yeah, if the Rams had won the game, I'd be tempted to take the
Take
points
points,
here too.
yeah.
But I think they emptied the bucket last week and still lost.
Right.
Sunday at 1, big game.
Big.
The 7-5 Jets are at the 9-3 Bills.
Bills by 9.5.
9.5. Yeah, we had a little preview of this one down in Cape Cod. One of my favorite bars, the Woodshed. I
Oh.
think that's where Buffalo's taking the Jets, just like
Okay.
Paul said. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm
That's
going to
good use of that. I like it.
The points. I almost used that one in the pregame show last week, but yeah, I saved it for now.
I like the Bills too, but that's a lot of points in a divisional game against a good defense. So I'll take the Jets to cover that because their defense gave Buffalo some problems the first time.
I am with young Evan. I believe the Jets. I believe in the Jets defense. I think they had a little bit of a blip in the first half of that game last week against Minnesota. Didn't play great. Quarterback didn't help them out early in that game. Once they started playing a little bit better offensively, they shut it down in the second half. I think that's more what the Jets are than what they looked like early. I'll take Buffalo to win, and I think they'll win easy, but I'll take the points.
I will also do the same thing. Buffalo wins, but they do not cover. Sunday at 1, the 5-7 Browns are at the 8-4 Bengals.
Bengals by 6.
That's a lot of respect for Deshaun
6.
Watson.
Wow.
They hardly had any offense last week,
They're
right?
terrible.
Yeah.
They were really bad last week.
Yeah, interesting
Go
game.
figure. 700 days in between games. Didn't look great.
Yeah, and I don't think one game I don't think is going to make really a difference. Cincinnati coming on at the right time. I will take Cincinnati and lay the points.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati to cover that. I can't believe it's only 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, I will take Cincinnati, but I'll be crazy, and I'll take the points in the division game. I think Watson will look better in his second game.
Yeah, I'm not taking the points. Bengals both ways because,
I also think Cincinnati had an emotional win last week. Sometimes you get a little flat.
Well, that's true. But I'll take the Bengals both ways. Sunday at 1, the 1-10-1 Texans are at the 9-3 Cowboys.
So guesses?
The battle for Texas.
Houston at Dallas. Guesses?
16.
How many?
16.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, you guys have the numbers in front of you. 17.
Oh,
Dallas
I
by
know
17.
that.
I forgot you guys already saw it.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
Davis
I
Mills.
tried.
Well, you have your
he's
little.
back in.
You have your little sheet.
Yeah,
that
see, why don't you print it?
Mike's
They don't
little-
have that on your internet?
Mike's script sheet.
I actually do, but sometimes the ESPN app is a little bit different than what Paul has.
Well, there are.
Yeah, no,
and
they are, yeah.
Truth be told, I mean, I usually use the lines in the Globe. They haven't always been in the Globe on Thursdays, so I've had to go online. So now I go just online, and I try to find like a DraftKings or something like that. They're all they're within a half a point on every game.
This is 17, and you were 16 and a half.
Yeah, no, this is 17.
Oh, so there's the same.
Yeah, I was just
Houston
the
at
same.
Dallas by 17. I think I got them right off of like a DraftKings today.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I will lay those points. Things are going downhill, it seems like, in Houston. They're kind of giving up.
Yeah, I'm taking Dallas and the points to cover as well. Dak's elite. That's it.
I didn't know you were such a big Dak fan.
Love Dak.
Yeah.
Love him. Yeah.
Davis Mills going back in the fold.
Little spark.
I mean, obviously, I'm taking Dallas to win the
exciting.
game. All right, I'll go with you guys. I don't like laying 17 points, but I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't
Farley's
either.
going
I mean,
out too. The cornerback, remember Caleb Farley that they drafted? He's out. Is that?
That's the Titans.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Who's the cornerback from Houston? No, they just lost another.
Derek
guy.
Stingley?
I'm going to take the
Stingley.
points,
No.
Paul. I'm going to take the points,
Losing my mind.
and that's why I'm like 50 games below 500.
Love Dak.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You're only 38.
Also
games
love
on it.
CeeDee Lamb, another guy
Sedarius.
that another team has.
Speaking of the Texans, has Jack Easterby landed anywhere, or is he?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I did see him on a podcast the other day. And he
Oh,
was-
really?
Oh, God.
What was it? What podcast had him on?
It's not like a big one. It came up on my Twitter feed for some reason.
Claire?
Like a religious one?
And he was like smiling ear to ear, like acting like the nicest guy in the world.
Hello, Mr. Easterby.
I was just like,
he's Mr.
God.
Upbeat in public, and then behind the scenes, he's sticking a knife in your
Little
hand.
finger. Yep.
Sunday at 1, the 10-2 Vikings are at the 5-7 Lions.
Want to repeat that? The 10-2 Vikings are at the 5-7 Lions, where the Lions are favored by 2.
Wow.
That's
changed.
Fascinating. And I believe that they've covered quite a few weeks in a row, too.
What
as
do the
favorites.
Sharps know?
They know that Dan Campbell's got these guys playing hard. Jared Goff playing the best ball of his life.
I would bleed for you guys.
I'm going to take Minnesota.
I was looking this up earlier. Jared Goff is 3rd in QBR right now. 3rd. The guy's having a heck of a season. I still like the Vikings, though, in this game. I think if they win this game, they win the division, if I remember correctly.
I believe they can clinch.
That's the clincher. So I think that they get this done. But that Lions offense, Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, Amon-Ra St. Brown, that guy's a problem. Really fun offense to watch right now.
Yeah, because if Detroit had lost last week, the Vikings would have clinched.
Yeah.
So absolutely by beating the Lions, I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna fall for it. Fred, I'll steal your line. What do the Sharps know?
Right.
I'm gonna take the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Sharps as well. I mean, let's do it.
I also am pretty much on record as saying I do not believe in the Vikings.
Yeah. 1 o'clock Sunday, 11-1 Eagles are at the 7-4-1 Giants.
Eagles by 6.5.
I like it, though. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'll lay the points.
I still like the Eagles. Still having fever dreams about that offense, so I'll take the Eagles. But I'll take it to be close.
So you want the Giants?
I want the Eagles to win. Yeah. But the Giants to cover.
Yeah, I'm with young Evan. I'll take the Eagles to win, but 6.5 division game, home dog. I'll take the points.
I'm gonna take the Eagles both ways.
When is he officially turned 30?
This weekend. Last days of his 20s.
Okay,
right
so I
here.
won't call you
He's
young
living
Evan
it
next
up.
week. I won't call you young Evan next week.
Middle age awaits.
I'm going to take the Eagles both ways. Isn't it the Giants that gave them their only loss of the season?
No, that was
Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh, the Commanders. I knew
Yeah.
it was an NFC
Yeah.
East team. Oh, so now I don't think so much about that. I was thinking.
He's reevaluating.
So you would have taken. Oh,
if the Giants had beaten him before.
So you were saying Philly would smack them around
Right.
because they lost the
Right,
first time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that changes things a little bit for me. I'll take the points.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
No,
scratch.
you know what?
Oh.
Eagles both ways.
A lot of
Eagles both
scratches
ways.
on my sheet this week.
pen.
People, the results will be in question this
Eagles-
weekend. Rightly so. There's a lot of scratch outs on
Eagles
the sheet.
both ways.
I
Sunday
don't know
at
what
1.
kind of stunt you're trying to pull, Perillo. There's a lot of scratches on this.
Sunday at 1, the 8-4 Ravens are at the 5-7 Steelers.
Another interesting spread, although this one's a little bit more understandable. Pittsburgh by 2.5.
No Lamar.
No Lamar.
Correct.
So Tyler Huntley, I think, is that
Yep.
is that who we got?
And Pittsburgh has played a little bit better,
Yeah.
at least in terms of wins and losses. I don't really think they've played all that much better.
I feel like this is a toss-up. I'm going to go with Baltimore. I just think they're overall a little bit better team, even without Lamar.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Baltimore. Also, the Steelers barely beat the Colts and Jeff Saturday's last week, right? So I think that team is, not
That was
so
2
hot.
weeks ago, and then they
Yeah.
barely beat the Falcons,
Yeah.
who have made a quarterback change.
Yes.
I will
Love me
be
some
with
Ritter.
the boys here, and I'll take Baltimore. I think Huntley's not bad. I think they'll be hard pressed to, be around 30 with points, the way they might with Lamar. But I think they'll score enough to win.
This could be a really good game. This could be a really good game.
Just not one I have any interest in watching.
Yeah.
Because if it's a really good game, it's going to be like 13-10.
I know, but you don't like football.
17-13. I don't like bad football.
Not a lot of red zone time.
Yeah,
for that one.
I'm gonna
Battle of backups. Count me out.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ravens.
That's right, Paul.
Sunday at 1, the 4-8 Jaguars are at the Where Have You Gone, Mr. Robinson Titans, 7-5.
He's been waiting on that.
Long road to grandma's for that one. Tennessee by 4.
Tennessee by 4. Yeah, and I think there's some issues with Trevor Lawrence too.
Yeah, do I have to get him out of my lineup? Because
you might-
Lamar's my
Yeah,
quarterback.
You might
so
want to look at.
Is he not playing?
Yeah, he might not.
Trevor's
You
gonna
wanna look at
play,
it.
I think,
Yeah.
but he's got a foot.
Yeah.
Oh, I know he's got a foot.
He's got 2 of them.
Everybody who ever played in Ford Field has a foot.
He's got a foot.
You know that, right?
Yeah, 'cause
that
of
Ford
that
Field thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll take the Titans. I'll lay the points.
I like the Titans too, and I'll take them to cover.
Yeah, they got to bounce back at some point, right? I don't think the Titans are all that good, but I'm going to lay the points, especially if you guys are telling me there's a chance that Lawrence might not be able to go wire to wire.
I'll take the Titans, but I'll take the points. I've been kind of riding with Jaguars
My brother-in-law hopes you're wrong.
all year, but he's got him a knockout.
Yeah.
Now we're at the 4:05 game. The 9-3 Chiefs are at the 3-9 Broncos. It's December, so the Broncos are at home.
Kansas City by 9.
Yeah, that's Yeah, I'm gonna take Kansas City. I'm gonna lay the points.
I like Kansas City to cover. I think they bounced back after last week.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one I don't really have a problem laying the points with. I mean, you get to
Seems kinda
you
low
get to
to me.
13, you cover this one.
Russell Wilson.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Man,
Yeah,
Denver's
Chiefs
D's
both
okay,
ways. 4:25. The 4-8 Panthers are at the 7-5 Seahawks.
Seattle by 4.5.
Yeah, I gotta take Seattle at home. I'll lay the points.
Coach of the Year, Pete Carroll.
It's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Do you think everybody's going to hold up Geno Smith now as retread quarterbacks that haven't but Geno Smith, like Baker Mayfield kind
Well,
of
he'll
thing?
definitely be an example of a guy
Yeah.
who,
He's like kind of the unicorn.
Every
though,
dog
but-
has his day.
I would caution against
I
that.
know, I
but
know.
Yeah, I mean, it could
he's like
happen.
the one guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He hasn't turned into.
I could give you a
Yeah.
list of
I know.
Sam Darnold's
He's
and
terrible
Sam,
for 6 years, then all of a sudden
and Andy Daltons that haven't necessarily worked out.
Okay, but in his defense, because right now Gino is the funnest quarterback to watch in the league. Most fun quarterback to watch.
Throws a beautiful deep.
I heard
Hands down.
funnest first.
I heard the funnest first too.
Don't worry about
The
it.
most fun quarterback in the league right now to watch is Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Hands
More
down.
than Dak?
Why is he more fun to watch than Mahomes or Allen?
Because it shouldn't be happening. Like
Okay.
with Mahomes and
What is
Allen,
happening?
I know that I'm watching what I'm expecting.
So
to
the
see.
trip, it's a fun trip.
It's a fun trip.
Yeah.
He's making more downfield tight window
Okay.
throws than any quarterback
All right.
in the league. It's incredible.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I really am enjoying it. And he's also been a backup for many of these years because everybody gave up on him.
He was forgotten. Absolutely.
Right. So I think in some ways it's a little bit different than a Baker or something like that who
It is.
has started
Fair
and
point.
things like that. I think that he's really just developed the way that people thought maybe he would coming out in the draft.
Yeah.
I like the Seahawks in this game, obviously, after that whole spiel.
Yeah.
Yes, I will take the Seahawks to win, but I will take the points. I think Carolina has played pretty good defensively, and Seattle, I think, is kind of starting to show that
A little bit.
they're just
Well, I mean,
not
they got
that good.
what's the running back is Kenneth Walker. I think is banged up now.
And he's doing a lot of this.
Also love
A lot
that
of
Tyreek
yipping.
Woolen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guy's a player.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points as well.
Like a 4-2 guy. or something like
425.
crazy fast.
4-2-6.
Top of the heap in the NFC South. Buccaneers at 6-6 are at the 49ers 8-4.
Ooh.
San Fran by 3.5.
Interesting game.
I was just going to say, really interesting game of 49ers, real good defense. You feel like Tampa is just trying tooth and nail to get it going, and I just don't think it's going to be enough. Even with Brady this week, I'm going to take the Niners, even with their backup guy.
Yeah, I think the 49ers end up covering this game as well. I just think that the Buccaneers are not actually that good, and the 49ers are a wagon, so I think that's going to show out in
The
this
offensive
game.
line against the 49ers defensive line.
And continuing with the incredible combination of ridiculous skill and luck, Tom Brady gets to go to San Francisco and play Brock Purdy.
Right.
I will take San Francisco to win the game. I will take the hook, and I will take the Bucs to find a way to lose by a field goal. I think if Jimmy were playing, I don't think Tampa would stand a chance in this game.
Yeah. I mean, think about, like, Brady, right? Like, in the past, the headline is, Brady leads comeback, 2 touchdowns in the game. You think, oh, it scores like 32-30. And he scores 17 points throwing 2 touchdowns. It's like the Buccaneers don't have an offense. They don't. They just don't. I'm going to have to go with the 49ers here. I'm sorry.
It's
Tom.
bizarre, too, because they have weapons.
Yeah.
It's not, Mike
know.
Evans, Chris
They
Godwin.
just can't
like,
get it going.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's one that it pains me to say, as you know. I don't think he's playing very well.
Yeah. Well, he's not playing up to his
I know how
standards.
bad the offensive line has been. I've seen him with
Yeah.
bad offensive lines before. It didn't look like
I
this.
still say that this is his last season.
Yeah.
Be
Byron
interesting.
Leftwich also on.
Yeah.
Is he really that
Yeah.
good?
Yeah,
to
people
watch?
think now that he's divorced,
Yeah.
what the hell?
He's got that
he'll
new
keep playing
girlfriend.
till
He's got a
he's
new
50.
girl
Yeah,
now.
he's got-
I think this is it.
Does
But
he?
anyway,
It's going around the internet.
Haven't heard that one.
Sunday night on NBC, the 8-4 Dolphins are at the 6-6 Chargers.
Lack, home dogs. Miami by 3.5.
Wow.
And did Miami? They were at the 49ers last week, right? Did they
Yes.
stay out on the West Coast?
I do not know.
wonder. That's
I do not have that
probably
information.
not.
what Mike McDaniel's got thinking. It's an interesting AFC game. I'm going to take Miami to bounce back, and I'm not going to take the hook. I'm going to lay the 3.5.
Yeah, I can't trust the Chargers, but this is going to be football Twitter's favorite game of the year. Like, this is Tua versus Justin Herbert.
Oh, yeah.
Which quarterback is actually good? Going head-to-head, social media QB. But I like the Dolphins to cover this spread as well, just because I think they're better teams.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami both ways, too. I just feel like the Chargers just don't have enough. Like, I've watched a handful, because they're always on at 4, obviously.
Yeah, it's all
so you
Eckler
catch
and-
they just don't have enough options.
Yeah.
Yeah, their downfield receivers have really dropped off.
Like, Josh Palmer is like an enormous part of that offense. He's good
Who?
like third or fourth guy, but
Keenan Allen's not the same guy.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is hurt all the
Like
time.
7,000
Keenan Allen caught a
injuries.
crosser in the game last week that I think, like, last year would have been a touchdown, and he just can't run.
Yeah.
I mean, he missed 8 weeks with a hamstring, for God's
Love to
sake.
see his injury report. He's got
I'll take Miami, but I'll take those points, Paul.
Okay, gotcha. Duly noted.
It's the hoof.
I'm gonna
The
take
hook.
it. All right.
It's a sin, Ma.
Monday night. We didn't have to skip over anything this week. The 6-6 New England Patriots are at the 4-8 Arizona Cardinals.
Patriots by 2.
2. Oh,
a lot of respect.
Dang
for
it!
the
That's really
Patriots.
screwing up my score. I'm gonna have to adjust. Yeah, I think this game's kind of a coin flip coming down. I am going to take the Patriots to win. I'll say, let's say 23-20, just to make it fit. But I think it's a low 20s kind of game. Maybe need some special team scores. I'm not sure. They got a lot of things that I think are going to challenge the Patriots in ways that they had troubles with the last few years, and I think their backs are against the wall. They're going to just kind of probably play loose and go for it. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a real nail biter right down to the end.
I am with you on the nail biter. This game to me comes down to who wants it. Like, who actually cares about winning this game? Because the Cardinals are 4-8. They're not going anywhere. Their coach might be on the outs. And the Patriots, their season is obviously very much in the balance as well. So which team actually comes out and plays hard and wants to win this game, I think is going to win it. I like the Patriots. I think 2017, kind of similar to Mike, low scoring in the 20s type of game.
Yeah, I really think this game is a lot like the way Evan just talked about. One team, I think, has a possibility of not really being all that emotionally invested in the outcome of the game. And I'm not sure which one that will be, but I think that might happen. I think if you just looked on paper and you matched up personnel, I think there's a lot of reasons to pick the Cardinals, and that's why I'm going to do it. Not because I think the Patriots are going to lay an egg, but to me it's more about Arizona not laying an egg. I think that's the path for the Patriots to win games nowadays, is like weather or the other team just not being equipped to do anything. And that could happen. Arizona's done it many times. Evans talked about it a lot. Like, their offense looks dysfunctional. I think it's been better when the principal pieces are in place. And that will be the case this week. They'll have Hopkins, Brown, and Murray look seemingly at reasonable health. 24-20, Arizona.
I think I'm 6-6 picking the Patriots this year.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
My guess is you were 10-7 last year.
Right.
And 7-9 the year before. That's off memory. Just going off the top of my head.
But in a show of a lack of confidence, I am picking the Patriots, but I'm taking the points. 30-29.
30.
30-29.
30.
Patriots score
win.
30 in this game and do not cover. Holy smokes!
The Patriots score 30 in this game. Then I'm gonna
start. I say too. Just one more
Pinch
thing.
me.
One more thing to highlight with Paul. You brought it up. I think I mentioned it too. Just I think this is a really big game for the Patriots. If they lose this game, you wonder. You're staying out there. What's the buy-in to Evan's point going to look like after that? So I think it's critical.
I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this happen. If the Patriots lose this game, I do not believe they will win another in 2022.
Whoa! Really? Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Am I okay with it? No. I have to do a show for it every. I mean,
but my point is that we have a lot of people. I know.
I know.
But there's
I'm
a lot
not
of people
rational.
that want the draft pick at this point.
Like, does it really matter going from 18 to 12?
That's my point. Yeah. That's my take on it, dude.
Although, I mean, you could make an argument that it could. I mean, didn't Miami go from 12 into the top 10 to get Jalen Waddle?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could make an argument.
Now we're talking.
There is no Jalen Waddle in this draft.
Well, I'll just talk myself into it. You're a Simmons guy from USC there.
Patriots Unfiltered is brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors or outdoors, scenic views or city vibes, solo or family style. Whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. That'll do it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Stay tuned for the playbook with John Rook. We got the pregame show Monday at 6.
Correct.
6 o'clock. We got the game, of course, and then the postgame show. A lot of people listened to last Thursday night's postgame show.
Yeah. Well, I think you were on, right?
Yeah, that's true. I had the glasses.
Yeah.
With a glass of whiskey.
Right. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.